So, what if your thoughts aren't just happening in your mind, but actively shaping the universe around you? What if your inner world, your emotions, intuition, and presence that influence the fabric of reality in ways you were never taught to imagine? Prepare for a shift, beautiful soul, because today we're diving into the mind of bending connection between your consciousness and the deeper quantum levels of your being. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy. This is a profound exploration on how your perspective, your energy, your inner truth are actively sculpting the life unfolding around you. So, welcome to the episode where the mystic meets scientific and where we explore the inner dimensions of consciousness through the lens of the quantum you. So, welcome. I'm Summer, and I am grateful you're here. The Just Be True, a Soul-Led podcast is a podcast that was born from a deep desire to live authentically, to strip away the mask and expectations and the old stories, and remember who we truly are. Each episode will explore what it means to live in harmony with your soul's truth through real conversations, intuitive guidance, and powerful moments of reflection. So each week, we explore what it means to live soul-led, to return to who you truly are, to listen inwardly, to awaken the deeper truths in your existence. And this week's theme is one that is special because it bridges the two worlds, the multi-dimensional spiritual layers within you, the quantum principles showing us how consciousness interacts with reality. Together, they reveal something powerful. You are far more expansive, far more connected than you've ever been taught. So we're going to explore this, right? We're going to talk more about it. So what are the inner dimensions of consciousness? When we talk about the inner dimensions, we're talking about the subtle realms inside of you, the places the mind can't logically, the mind can't logic its way into, but the soul recognizes it instantly. Your consciousness is not a single state. It's not limited to your thoughts or emotions. It is a vast layered universe of the intuitional realm, the knowing that doesn't use words, the emotional body where memories, patterns, and hidden triggers live, your energetic field, the vibrations you carry that speak long before you do, your higher consciousness, the pure, unfiltered essence of who you truly are, and the quantum layer, where your intentions bring shaping physical reality, right? We've been taught to live at the surface level. The day-to-day, the doing, the busyness, these layers shape your experiences far more than the external world does. Most people try to change their lives from the outside inwards. They set goals, they break habits, they change environments, shift routines. But your truth lies in the deeper levels within. And when you learn to access those deeper levels, your entire life begins to shift. When you soften inwardly, when you slow down enough to notice the subtle changes, the subtle shifts, you begin to feel the deeper dimensions opening up. the nudge of intuition that guides your path, the shift in your energy that determines what you attract, the recognition of truth without evidence that transforms you, the whispers of your higher self that provides the perspective the mind can't, and the alignment that feels like home, and the remembrance of consciousness that holds the blueprint to your soul's plan. But transformation begins inside, long before anything external moves. So when the inner shifts, the outer starts to align with it. We are not here to chase alignment. We're here to remember it. So this is why when you finally see yourself clearly, you start making decisions that align differently. You walk differently. You speak differently. You hold your boundaries differently. You stop abandoning yourself. You stop shrinking to please others. And your life begins to mirror your truth. I know that I've gone through several life changes, and I'll say that, in my earlier years when I was younger, yes, I tried to change my environment and everything around me, whether it was the job, whoever I was in a relationship with, moving furniture around in the house to get that energy that I'm looking for, but none of those made a difference. Not a single one of them. It's when I was able to start looking inward and changing how I saw things, changing my perspective of what I was experiencing. That's when my outer world started changing. I learned to show gratitude for the simplest little things, and I learned to understand that someone else's truth is definitely different than mine, and that I can't expect someone else to understand where I'm at, what my experiences is, and then so therefore I can't understand theirs truly. Two people can walk the exact same path and have two completely different experiences. So it all starts within and how we look at the world from within, and just understand that. And to understand how your inner world shapes your outer world, we first need to understand what reality actually is beneath the surface. And this is where that quantum realm comes in, the realm beneath the atoms, the reality that doesn't have in solid, predictable ways, right? Particles don't exist in one form. They exist as possibility until observed. Everything's a possibility until it's observed like you're observing it. So what collapses possibility into reality is awareness, observation, and consciousness. So this is where the metaphysical and the scientific meet in this world. Your awareness, your focus, your inner state interact with reality at a subtle but powerful level. Your consciousness isn't just experiencing life, it's participating in shaping it. You can shape your experience in your life as you go about your day-to-day. When you shift internally, the field around you responds to that. Your higher self is not just out there, It's the dimension of you that exists beyond fear, like in old stories. So, for example of that internal shift, right? Let's say you're at work, and there's conflict between you and another individual in your office, or in your workplace. And they'll say something that maybe feels derogatory or demeaning to you. And so instead of taking it personal, because that's usually what we first want to do, is take what someone says to us or about us personal. Let's step back and become the observer of the situation and realize that where they're coming from is completely different from where you are. And when you can become the observer and realize that their words and the things that they are saying or doing is a reflection of them and not a reflection of you, that changes your perspective, which in turn changes the reality of the situation. It's no longer about you. It shows where that individual is and how they're different from you, right? And then this allows you to have more understanding. It allows you to have more compassion and maybe even empathy for the individual. So then you can strip away the personal hurt and the personal attacks that you were feeling, and you can bring in understanding, you're shifting it, empathy, you're exploring what's new, right? And a different way of understanding. And this takes away the lack that was in the original situation. It takes away the self-perspective, and it brings an observation of greater than. And so as you move into this higher self, this more intuitive space, it speaks through intuition. It can feel like peace. It can feel like clarity, an alignment, right? And then there's situations where you're just going to feel at home with what's happening. It just changes everything about it. It makes life easier and a little bit more enjoyable, right? You connect with it by softening your mind, opening your heart, and asking, what does my truth feel like right now? Not what you think, not what you feel, but your truth. The truth is inside. That's where the higher self lives. It's a feeling of an undeniable knowing that sweeps over you. And it can be very powerful. So our mind doesn't see reality, it interprets it, right? Every single moment in your life is filtered through your beliefs, your wounds, your intuition, your emotional state, your energy, the energy that you carry around with you, and your level of awareness. Your level of awareness is not only awareness of your surroundings and what's happening around you, but your self-awareness. Awareness of how you're connecting with the situation. Awareness of how you're interpreting a situation. Right? So that self-awareness is extremely important. So I mentioned it earlier. Two people can live through the same exact event and walk away with completely different realities. And because a reality is an interpretation, it's not merely observed. So when you change your inner dimensions, your inner world, your outer world begins to change with that. This is why alignment matters, why awareness matters, and why your internal healing matters, right? So healing that shadow part of yourself to bring it into alignment. So an easy way to remember this is that your inner world is a tuning frequency for the reality that you experience. So where the higher self meets the quantum field, your higher self is not somewhere above you. It is an expanded dimension of you that exists beyond your fear, beyond ego, and beyond limitations. You experience your higher self through synchronicities. I love synchronicities. Sudden clarity, like the aha moments, through your intuition, inspired actions, deep inner knowing, like those things you just know without any doubt whatsoever, and that energetic guidance that we get. This is your consciousness interacting directly with the quantum field. When you align with your higher self, choices become clearer, energy feels lighter, resistance dissolves, manifestations accelerate like bam, 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 and reality reorganizes around your truth. And let me tell you, when you can start living in this limitless existence, being truly connected with your higher self and walking your power and doing what your soul is meant to do, everything starts falling into place. It's easy, and the roadblocks become less. The stress becomes almost non-existent. You can observe an unpleasant event that's happening in your 3D world, and you can become an observer of that and know that you're going to be taken care of and that things are going to work out just fine. That's where this shift comes in. And that's where it can just make everything just absolutely amazing. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have hard times. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be stressed again. Just those situations are going to be easier to work through and easier to move through, because in your heart, in that intuitive mind, in that constant connection with your higher self, you know it's going to be fine. That's that automatic knowing, that deep knowing, right? And so remembering when you're going through these difficult challenges, remembering that knowing allows you the strength to push through them without feeling so heavy in the moments, and knowing that it's all going to be okay. The higher self is your doorway, it's a higher version of reality. There will be times when you're going to go inward, is necessary to navigate through life. If life has felt louder lately, if your emotions have been rising, if old patterns have been resurfacing, and if your intuition is nudging you a little bit more strongly, you are being guided inward. Going inward can be extremely healing and releasing. I've had times where I've gone inward and it'll be anywhere from a few moments to years. Literally years. When my best friend passed away 6 years ago, I went inward and I stayed there for quite some time. Now I'll be truthful with you that going inward, I did a lot of healing. I got into kind of a rough spot, but I was able to move out of that, and I was able to heal that darkness within me, that shadow pieces within me, and be able to come out of that more enlightened, my intuition even stronger, being able to see without any doubt. And when I say being able to see without any doubt, it's more along the lines of I could see that my future was going to be okay. And you could also call it kind of a knowing. But when I see, it's more like intuitional seeing, my third eye seeing. Like I could see things were happening and was going to happen. And being able to step into that layer of that quantum healing, quantum knowing truly helped me a lot. So if you're being guided to go inward with grace and understanding and without expectations. Allow whatever needs to take place to take place. Allow your soul to guide you. Allow your intuition to be your compass as you're moving through what needs to be moved, because your inner dimensions are opening. This happens during moments of awakening, transition, healing, and expansion. And it happens when the soul says, it's time. There's more for you. Come inside. I will say that what I have learned, and to me it's been very profound to learn this, but our intuition, our spiritual connectedness, our spiritual gifts, they tend to become stronger and to become greater in those moments of stillness, in those moments when we go inward for healing and connection. Yes, you have to, there's things that you can do to heighten your intuition and your gifts by practicing the work, by practicing doing guidance, doing meditation. But the greatest growth of your intuition and your spiritual gifts happen in the stillness of when you go inward, when you're not trying to force things, when you allow yourself to flow in the energy that's being provided for you. And if that energy is stillness and quiet, embrace it, observe it, and be one with it. And then you begin to sense that something within you is ready to be seen, understood, or even reclaimed. So, how do we access these inner dimensions? So, it can be very practical. You can step into these deeper layers of consciousness and work within. So, I'm going to talk about a few things that you can do. One of the things you can do is stillness before seeking answers. Silence reveals what thinking hides. Even 1 minute of intentional stillness creates an opening. The soul speaks in quiet and not chaos. So if you're new to this and you're like, I can't hear, I can't tell what they're trying to tell me, I can't tell what they're trying to tell me, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, then that's the moment where you just need to stop. Just to stop. Right? You are reeling out of control. and you set yourself in, you set your energy in this panic mode or this grasping mode, trying to grasp hold of anything that comes your way. And when you find yourself there, that's when you need to be still and meditate without expectations. Meditate without even an intent. The only intent you need to have is to be still and embrace that stillness. Don't be asking, what do I need to know now? Or how do I get this answer now? No, let's connect. Let's connect inward. Let's connect to our higher selves. Let's connect to that quiet stillness energy and learn to sit comfortably with that in the silence and the stillness. Because that's where the healing is going to begin, and then the connection will come. But that healing is going to have to take place. Another thing that you can do is breath work. Your breath is the bridge between your physical awareness and your energetic awareness. So I personally like the inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 6. And so you can practice that when you're in a quiet space, and you inhale, and you hold, and you exhale. And the first time you do it, you should feel like an immediate wave of relaxation that comes over you. You can do this breath work as many times as you want. There's no set number, but do it as much as you need to, as much as you're called to. There's also other breathing techniques that take place out there, but that one's just my favorite. Another one that you can do is sensation awareness. Notice where your body tightens or softens. Our body tells us so much about us. It's an intuitive machine, and so your body senses truth before the mind even recognizes it. And your body reacts before your mind even understands it. So tune into the tightness, the warmth, the expansions. Let your body be your map of what's going on. One experience that I had, and it was many years ago, but it was such an event. I can't even, I can't forget about it. So me and a girlfriend were going to a little country line dance place for an evening. Wow, this was probably about over 20 years ago. It was like probably closer to 30 years ago we were going. And all the way there, man, my stomach was gassy as all get out, and I was like, hey, we gotta stop. I gotta get some Gas X or something. This is bad, and I mean, my stomach was just like burp, 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 burp. And we get to this place, and we're standing in line to get in, and there was someone standing behind me, and we kicked up a conversation. And all of a sudden, my stomach just calmed down. And it was really interesting. And me and this individual ended up talking all night. Actually, we ended up getting married. But needless to say, that relationship was a catalyst to many other things in my life that going forward. But I'm no longer in that relationship. But it was just very interesting because I remember all the way there, man, my stomach was just a nervous wreck. But when I met this individual and we struck up a conversation, my stomach calmed down. And it didn't give me any more problems the rest of the night. So basically, my body knew what was happening, before I even got there. It knew what the universe and the stars had aligned to take place for that evening. And it was pretty, I mean, that's pretty cool, if you think of it like that. So listen to your body, listen to what it's telling you, because it's your roadmap of what's happening. And once you start to be able to recognize the different cues that it gives you, you're going to know what's going to happen before it even happens. I mean, you may not know exactly what's going to happen, but you're going to know, oh, I need to pay attention to this because, this type of event may happen, right? So if my stomach starts getting like, really gassy like it did that time and kind of really uncontrollable because the gas X that I took did not help, you know, then I could be like, oh, there's a person or an event that's fixing to happen that's going to change the trajectory of my life. That's going to be a catalyst for what's to come in the future. Another thing, feelings before thoughts. So ask yourself, what am I feeling beneath the surface of this moment? That's where the truth lies. Like, what are you feeling? And a lot of times your feelings about something are going to be stronger than the actual event of something. So how many times have you had, like, we've heard stories of people, like a tragic accident would happen, but before the accident happened, that person said goodbye to a loved one differently than they normally would have. Or they spent an extra moment with them than they normally would have because they had a feeling that they just needed to. So pay attention to those feelings because they're telling you something. Another one is to follow the frequency that expands you. Expansive energy is alignment. Contractive energy is misalignment. So, in other words, when you feel free and open and things are flowing for you, you're in alignment. But when you feel tight and stressed, right, that's misalignment. So sometimes you have to choose what resonates with you versus the logic, right? So choosing that logic sometimes isn't what's right to do. You have to choose what resonates with you, what feels right, and what feels more open and free. What expands you is always alignment to your higher self. So you can also ask your higher self questions, right? What is the highest aligned choice for me right now? Then listen to the energy, not your logic. Listen to your body. How does it feel? So you may have a choice A or a choice B. So let's say, I want to know if, let's do something silly. So I just want to know if I should buy, a pen or a pencil to do my work with. I don't know, right? So I'm going to listen to my body and I'm going to see, which of these choices would the pen align more right for me and my higher self? Or would the pencil align more right for me and my higher self? And even as I ask that, I have to say a pencil. And I mean, I got pencils all over the place. I like to write with pencils. But those line more with me. Some people are pen people, right? So I know that was very simple and very basic. I couldn't think of anything like major right off, but even the basic little things. And sometimes asking those basic, simple questions can help you learn what that energy feels like. What resonates, helps you learn what truly resonates with you and what doesn't. So you can start simple and then grow to the bigger things, right? Expand to the bigger things. Also realizing the last one that you could do is also realizing that your thoughts are energy, not your identity. So choose which thoughts become reality for you. But thoughts are energy, and remember, energy can be created and it can be transformed, but it can never be demolished or gotten rid of, right? Energy is a continuation of, but you can always transform that energy to be what you need it to be. So realizing that your thoughts are energy is really powerful, and also understanding that that doesn't mean that's your identity. So, choose your thoughts wisely, but also choose thoughts that create and become your reality that you want to create. Allow your thoughts to be the reality that you want to create. So, a lot of people are starting to awaken for the first time. Many people are reawakening. I will, we can dive into this more in a later episode, but awakening doesn't just happen once. It happens over and over and over again, because each time you awaken, it takes you to another level. It takes you higher up that spiral, and it takes you higher and higher and higher. And that awakening process is a spiral. It's one before another, and it's a slow progression upward. Now you're going to have jumps along the way, and then you'll have pauses. You may even slide down a little bit, but even if you slide down a bit, when next time it's time for you to have another awakening, you're going to go up higher than you were before. This evolution, right? And so this awakening is happening for so many people. It brings more intuition, it brings more sensitivity, more awareness, more energetic attunement that has to take it in, more being called inward, and more connecting with their higher selves. And so just want to let you know that this is not random. This is evolution. This is awakening. And our entire planet is awakening. Our entire planet and our universe is shifting and moving with us. So there's not a whole lot of choice in the matter, right? But everybody's doing it, and our entire planet, because when we shift and when we awaken, our planet goes through that as well. So these interventions open connectivity. Not only are we opening connectivity to ourselves and our higher selves, but we're also opening up connectivity to our surroundings and to everything that we're connected with. And we are all connected. There's no singularity here. We are all connected. We're connected to one another. We're connected to our planet, and we're connected to everything that exists on this planet. And even farther than, I personally believe that our connectivity goes out beyond this planet and this universe. I feel that it's kind of a ripple that happens that flows along. So you've heard it many times, I'm sure, that the veil is thinning. Our consciousness is expanding, and we are beginning to remembering who we are. And so I empower you to step into that. If you feel different lately, it's not your imagination. If you feel more sensitive, you're not imagining it. If your intuition is louder, your emotions are more present, your dreams are more vivid, you are entering deeper levels of your own consciousness. And so learning to embrace that, learning to work with it, and learning to create your own reality, because this is the magic behind it all, is being able to create your own reality. I'm going to tell you, this is not coincidence. It's not a phase. This is your evolution. Not only is our planet's evolution, it's your evolution as well. Your soul is inviting you to know yourself in a way that it's never known it before. And then universe within you is awakening. So just be with that for a moment. So as you move through this week, honor those nudges that come along. Honor and seek out the quiet moments. The quiet moments is where that expansion and that healing is going to take place. And it's going to take place there more than anywhere else. You know, honor the way that your shift in this awakening takes place. So you can do that through journaling, through vlogging, through writing a blog or sharing with others. So honor that. Your thoughts are not small. Your emotions are not random. And your intuition is not imagination. It is all your truth and your awakening. You are a dynamic individual living in a relationship with the universe itself. Now think about that. You are a dynamic individual in a living relationship with the universe itself. It's not just you. I mean, that's amazing. And the more you align with your truth, the more reality aligns with you. You're not just unlocking consciousness here. You are returning to your original state of knowing. And so allow yourself to step into that, right? Live limitlessly. Create the reality that you were made for to create here. And learn to be at peace with that, right? And practice the breath works, practice the going inward. So I want to thank you for sharing this space with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share it with someone who is walking a path of inner awakening. And if you're ready to dive deeper, please sign up for my Just Be True Vibe newsletter, where each week we explore energy, intuition, healing, just in a soul-led way. The link to sign up for that is going to be in the show notes, so please go there and check it out. Next week, I'm so excited. Next week, we're exploring the deepening your intuition, trusting that inner compass that's within us. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. So until next time, trust your energy, trust your inner world, and trust the universe within you. Because you, my friend, you are amazing. See you next time. Bye.